So you finally got paid and you want to keep some of your hard-earned money. This video, we're going to be looking at ways that you can maximize the paycheck that you're getting, and also looking and focusing on the things that you do need to cover as a responsible adult when it comes to your paycheck. Now, when you do get paid, a lot of people want to go out, fill that wants bucket. The 50-30-20 rule, that 30 is really burning a hole in your pocket when it comes to the wants that you really want to cover. But we know priority number one, guys, is paying the bills. When it comes to paying the bills, this could be the mortgage, this could be covering the rent, the car payments, the insurance payments, this could be covering your credit card payments, making the minimum payments on there, any loan payments that you have. This is where a lot of your check is going to be really caught up, guys. And again, going back to that 50-30-20, 50% of this is going to go to the bills right off of the bat. And hopefully for a majority of Americans, if you are budgeting properly, 50% and possibly less than 50% is going into this bucket. Now, there are a lot of ways that you can evaluate what is going into paying your bills and how you can actually get things for cheaper. When you start breaking it down into, can you lower the living expenses that you have? Can you get a mortgage cheaper? Can you get an auto loan cheaper? Can you get a better rate? Could you take it out possibly looking at a longer term, depending on where the rate is? And also taking accountability of what you're spending your money on that you possibly could not need. On average, they say it's $214 that Americans are spending on subscriptions every single month, which is kind of insane when you think of your paycheck and how much is getting eaten up every single time that you're getting paid. Budgeting out and figuring out exactly where every dollar goes to is going to be imperative. Now, the second one, we get into paying down debt. Now, even though you have your paycheck and you went ahead and paid your bills, second most important thing, guys, is paying down the debt. Because if you are not paying down the debt sits on there like a liability, and the debt is actually going to cost you additional money. It is going to eat up that precious paycheck that we know exactly what you want to do. The sooner that the debt is paid off, the more money you're going to have and the more money you're going to retain from that paycheck, meaning it is giving you more opportunities to fill that want bucket, but also giving you some opportunities to invest. Every dollar that you should put towards debt is something you don't have to pay interest on, guys. Now, that is really something important to live by, is when you're paying down your debt and maximizing paying down the debt, you want to make sure, again, every dollar that you're putting towards that debt is a dollar that you are not paying when it comes to interest. Now, setting up an automatic savings plan is number three, guys. So again, focusing on this is going back to the kind of paying yourself first. When it comes to your paycheck, you want to delegate a portion of this to be automatically transferred to a separate savings. This could be something for short-term goals. This could be something for long-term goals. So when you look at vacations, when you look at down payments of the house, the video that we just kind of covered was budgeting for long-term, which you can definitely check out, our long-term goals depending on what you want to do. When you look, again, at longer-term home purchases, possibly education for a child, you have to make sure that you're automating and you have to make sure that you're setting aside money. Now, getting into number four, guys, starting or ensuring your emergency fund is fully funded. That is right, guys. When we start up the emergency fund, the goal is to save $1,000. Now, I know I've said this before, that this is not really a true, tried and true emergency fund, only having that $1,000. However, it is going to cover a majority of the smaller expenses that you have in life, that a lot of people would just resort back to borrowing or resorting back to credit cards to cover any of those expenses. So if a tire blows out in your car, really thinking about what is truly an emergency and sticking the emergency fund only in that situation. It is not where I didn't properly budget. I spent too much on my wants. I went out to a concert. I had too much entertainment expense. This is really not used for paying down debt, not used for retirement, paying for college, any other goal. The emergency fund is strictly and only for emergencies. The next one we look at, guys, is cash flow. Cash flow is really, really important when it comes to optimizing, really building the high yield savings, giving you the ability to save, giving you the ability to cover the monthly liabilities when you do get that paycheck. Now, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, but there is, again, a little bit of give and take with that. What does living to paycheck exactly mean? Does it mean that you're going out 5 times a week and you're eating fast food, or you're going to dine because you choose not to cook? Could you possibly look at something cheaper? Are you spending $7 on a Starbucks coffee when you could be buying and brewing your own coffee for $1 or $2, possibly even less? Where are the points in your life that you can cut, even if it is temporarily, or even just limiting it? to where if you're getting a coffee 5 times a week, what if you cut it to 2 times a week and then supplement it again with brewing some coffee at home? What if instead of spending $10 or $15 out to lunch, you brought your own lunch at $1 or two and really cost savings and knowing exactly where the money goes? With each paycheck, guys, you have to really know exactly where the cash flow is if you're going to have enough money. What a majority of Americans are doing right now is instead of budgeting properly, instead of repaying debt, they are just borrowing more to supplement income. So if you're an individual that is making $3,000 a month, you're budgeting and spending $3,500 a month. There's going to be a point where you get so far in the red, you cannot borrow any more money. And unfortunately, at that point, guys, you are going to be completely stuck because the only way out of that, the cycle is either one, cutting the expenses, or two, creating additional income. Last one we look at, guys, is paying yourself first by investing. This is really one of the breakdowns. And again, we did an investing video that covered investing from the really basics and fundamentals of 2023, covering how much can you invest, where do you want to invest it, how often are you going to invest it, what are the tax consequences, and what kind of rate of return are you going to get. Now, before you invest, and this is really a note, a lot of people do say, go ahead and save first. Make sure you're saving money. Make sure you're putting it into a 401k, an IRA, whatever it may be, guys. In my opinion, as being a financial counselor, I would consolidate and pay off debt prior to investing. So when you think about it logically, or when you think about it mathematically, if you're putting, let's say, money into the VOO, the S&P 500, which yields an 8 to 10% return every year, pretty good, solid return, good growth plan, good investment strategy. However, if you have credit cards and you're paying 18, 22, 24, 30% on those credit cards, mathematically, it makes a bigger difference, and also cash flow wise, to pay down and pay off those debts, guys, using either the debt snowball or the debt avalanche method, whichever one you prefer. Personally, I do use the debt avalanche method. The snowball method is the psychological factor of actually paying down your debt from the smallest to the largest and systematically just working your way down. Now, the avalanche method actually covers it from the highest rate to your lowest rate and focusing down and paying everything down on that highest rate card or loan, regardless of what the balance may be. Now, psychologically, again, the debt snowball is going to make more sense because you'll see the elimination of debt much, much faster. But mathematically, the debt avalanche does make a big difference when it comes to building it out. So guys, I hope it helps when you really do get a paycheck. You have to be budgeting. I cannot stress it enough. We talk about it in all the videos. Budgeting the money that you're bringing home. Every dollar has a purpose, guys. Debt repayment. Debt is absolutely crippling when you look at student loan debt, when you look at mortgage debt, when you look at credit card debt. The combination of everything, especially if you're carrying multiple forms of debt, is going to be detrimental. A majority of your paycheck is literally going to be eaten up every single time that you get paid. All right, guys, so that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.